I also put an advanced Fourier system on the main hallway chalkboard. This is correct. Who did this? Is this my imagination, or has my class grown considerably? Rather to ascertain the identity of the mystery math magician. And there is a problem on the board right now that took us more than 2 years to prove.
Welcome back to Crow's Recap. Today we are talking about a great film. The story is about young, talented man breaking free of a stagnant life and making a life of his own. Today we're doing Goodwill Hunting. Chuckie picks up Will from his shabby house and drops him off at the school where he works as a janitor. Professor Gerald Lambeau is teaching the class advanced mathematics. He writes a challenging theorem for the students. Lambeau says that anyone who solves the theorem, their name will be published in the MIT journal.
I'm hoping that one of you might prove it by the end of the semester. Now the name printed in the auspicious.
While cleaning, Will notices the problem on the board. Will and his friend go to a bar to have drinks, but Will's mind is still on the problem. He leaves and goes home and spends the whole night trying to crack the code. On the weekend during his shift, he anonymously writes the solution on the board. The professor is astonished to see that someone has solved it.
Who did this?
Will spots his old bully. He and his friends stop the car
Me and Will, remember we went to kindergarten together?
and beat up the bully and his gang. Will hits one of the police officers and is arrested. Meanwhile, Lambeau still hasn't found the mystery mathematician.
Or rather to ascertain the identity of the mystery math magician.
After that, the professor drafts another theorem. Will is scheduled to appear in court next week after recently being released from custody. He comes back to work and sees the new problem on the board and immediately begins to solve it. Will is writing something on the board when Professor Lambeau notices it.
That's people's work. You can't graffiti here. Don't you walk away from me!
Before the professor can reach him, Will manages to get away. Lambeau is taken aback by the solution to the second theorem. Will goes to a pub with his pals. Chuckie makes an effort to win over some girls. A bully appears and attempts to make Chuckie feel ashamed in front of the entire bar.
What class did you say that was? It was just between recess and lunch.
Will intervenes and humiliates the bully.
Is your own idea just to impress some girls? Embarrass my friend?
Will's confidence impresses one of the girls, who gives him her number and suggests that they go on a date.
There's my number.
Lambeau uses his resources to get Will out of the courtroom.
I've spoken to the judge, and he's agreed to release you.
However, there are two requirements.
But under two conditions.
What are those?
One is that he needs to see a therapist and collaborate with him to solve mathematical problems.
Combinatorial mathematics.
Will is still reluctant to see therapists, but he does agree and see the professor once a week.
Did you see a therapist?
All right, I'll do the math, but I'm not going to meet with any therapist.
To avoid therapy, Will makes fun of the therapists.
Hey, you know something? I can't do this pro bono work anymore.
I told you to cooperate with these people.
The professor worries about Will and fears that if his ignorance is not controlled, Will be lost. He contacts an old friend he hasn't spoken to in a while as a last resort. He tells him about Will
This boy is incredible. I've never seen anything like it.
and that he may be the only one who can transform Will and help him reach his full potential. If he is unable to do so, Will be lost. The therapist consents to meet with Will. Will begins discussing the therapist's wife.
You married the wrong woman? Why'd she leave you?
The therapist is extremely sensitive to this subject. He leaves the session, but agrees to be Will's therapist. The therapist drinks all night while reflecting on Will's remarks. He meets Will in the morning for the subsequent session. He explains that he can see through Will's entire defense mechanisms, and he is aware that Will is a scared youngster who hides his true self with mockery.
I see a cocky, scared, shitless kid.
He is unable to express himself because he is too terrified of what others might discover.
Who you are.
Will goes on a date with the girl from the pub,
2, 3.
but he is hesitant to contact her again. Will maintains silence in the next session. Eventually, they begin discussing the girl from the bar.
I went on a date last week. How'd it go? It was good.
Will says the date went well, but he has not called her for a second date. He says that he isn't ready for a second date with her because he is afraid of becoming bored with her.
This girl's like fucking perfect right now. I don't want to ruin that.
However, the therapist sees right through Will and convinces him that he is not calling the girl because he is afraid she will reject him. The next morning, he shows up at the girl's dorm and invites her on a second date. They both hang out, and the girl begins to ask about Will's family and background. Will is defensive.
I have 12 big brothers.
You do not.
I'm living with 3 of them right now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
In the next session, he asks the therapist if he ever regretted meeting his wife because her death has completely stopped his life.
And you don't regret meeting your wife?
He tells Will that he has no regrets and would do it all over again if given the opportunity.
I don't regret a single day I spent with her.
Because true love was priceless to him and nothing could replace it.
I don't regret the 18 years I was married to Nancy. And I sure as hell don't regret missing a damn game.
The professor and therapist get together for breakfast. They talk about Will's progress. The professor insists that Will should get a job.
We gotta give this kid direction.
However, the therapist believes that Will should be allowed to make his own decisions.
Well, Sean!
You have to let him find
Sean, I'm not sitting at home every...
Well, maybe he doesn't want what you want.
The professor storms out of the diner, furious. Will's girlfriend suggests that they should relocate to California,
I want you to come to California with me.
where she must attend medical school. But Will is afraid of committing.
I can't go to California.
You're afraid of me, you're afraid that I won't love you back.
What do you want to know? What? That I don't have 12 brothers?
Yeah, because I want to help you, because I
Help
want to be
me?
with
So he breaks up with her.
I don't love you.
Will is in a bad mood the following morning. He confronts the professor, telling him that he is too controlling and that he does not want to do it.
I'll give you a job myself. I just wanted you to see what was out there.
Will tells the professor that he needs him, but he doesn't.
This is probably a total waste of my time.
The professor is hesitant to admit it, but he soon realizes his error and begs Will not to waste his life.
I can't do this.
Will is offered a job with the National Security Agency, but he declines.
So why do you think I should work for the National Security Agency? Why shouldn't you?
While discussing this with his therapist, he is forced to explain why he turned down the job. The therapist asks him what he wants to do with his life.
No,
Look, I didn't want the job.
it's not about the job. I don't care if you work for the government. What do you want?
But he is afraid of his own potential and is unsure. The therapist says that this is probably the best job he will ever get, and he is still refusing it. Why? Why is he so stuck? He tells Will that Will is afraid of taking risks and overlooks life's greatest opportunities.
Why did you work at the most prestigious technical college in the whole fucking world?
It's time he took control of his own life. Because Will is not pursuing his passion, he is stuck, and he should realize it.
What do you want to do? Because you don't know.
Call you up before you left.
Will.
Will informs Chuckie that Skylar has abandoned him and left for California.
She's gone.
Chuckie asks if he's found work yet. Will says he does not want that. He wants to remain here. Chuckie advises him to get his life straight. Will has something that none of the other guys have,
You got something none of us have.
Oh, come on.
and he's throwing everything away. Chuckie has high hopes for Will and would do anything to see him succeed in life.
Because I'd do f***ing anything to have what you got.
He wants what is best for him. The therapist and the professor have another argument in the office, and the professor blames the therapist for not pushing the boy enough,
He is at a fragile point, okay? He's got problems.
making him feel like a failure like himself.
You think I'm a failure. I know who I am, and I'm proud of what I do.
However, the therapist is aware of Will's condition and understands how he can break down under pressure as a result of his oppressive upbringing.
Because the first thing that happened to him, he was abandoned by the people. For 20 years, he's been alone because of that.
Will meets with the therapist and shares his childhood trauma. The therapist informs him that he was also beaten as a child and tells him that if he can overcome it, Will can too.
You come home hammered, looking to wail on somebody. It's not your fault.
He explains to Will that everything that has happened is not his fault.
Right? It's not your fault.
He should not blame himself for this. He should start believing in himself and start living again. Will breaks down and starts crying. Will is moved by the therapist's words and eventually gets a job in a prestigious firm. He meets with his therapist and is disappointed to learn that he will be away for some time. However, both the therapist and Will understand that Will no longer requires these sessions and will be fine.
Is that what you want?
Good luck, son.
Will's friends buy him a car,
Happy birthday. Here's your present.
and the professor acknowledges his errors and apologizes to the therapist.
Sean,
Me too, Jerry.
The therapist forgives him and they reconcile over drinks. Will finally drives to meet Skylar in the new car. He writes a note to the therapist explaining the situation because he is the only one who understands.
I had to go see about a girl. Will.
Chuckie visits Will's flat and discovers that he is finally left. Goodwill Hunting isn't just a story about extraordinary intelligence. It's about the courage required to let people in, to accept love, and to believe you're worthy of happiness. Will's journey teaches us that our greatest potential means nothing without human connection. And sometimes, the bravest thing a genius can do is choose love over achievement.
I had to go see about a girl. Will.
That's what makes this movie timeless. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more incredible movie recaps. What did you think of Goodwill Hunting? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. See you in the next one.